Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. Today we are going to be doing a haul. I love hauls. I filmed a haul, I think like once a month for the past 3 months.
Don't come for me.
Listen, if you're a consumerism girl, you can comment and you can cancel me and you can be mad, but you know what? This is the first time in my whole life that I've ever made my own fucking money, and if I want to spend that shit at Barnes & Noble, you're not gonna stop me. So, I have a very big, very exciting book haul for you guys. Some of my most anticipated reads of 2022 are in this haul video, so I hope you have a good time watching. Also, just to note, because I feel like if something needs to be said, I did something new with my eye makeup today. Listen, if you don't like it, you can ignore it. Listen, I don't know how I feel about it, so if you don't like it, you know what, I get it. You don't need to comment, just ignore it. If you do like it and you feel the need to comment and hype me up in the comments, like,
Nothing's stopping you, babe, you know?
So, without further ado, why do I keep clapping? Who am I? Let's get into the books. I'm gonna start out with my August Book of the Month picks. The first one is Girl Forgotten by Karen Slaughter. Y'all knew I was gonna pick this. I'm literally Karen's biggest fan. If I ever met her, I think I would shit myself and die. Like, I am so obsessed with Karen Slaughter. I think she can do no wrong, and this is her newest book. It is a follow-up to one of her standalones called Pieces of Her, but I believe this can be read on its own. I think it just carries on one of the main character's stories from Pieces of Her, so having that background knowledge is helpful. I'm not sure because I haven't read it. I don't know if it spoils any aspects of Pieces of Her, but I think if you don't have the desire to read that book, you can go in and understand this book because it is set in the 80s and we're following this girl as she's getting ready for her 80s prom night. Love the vibes. Little does she know she will be murdered by the end of the night. And then we're following present day as the investigator from Pieces of Her comes back to see if she can solve this cold case. Obviously, I'm super excited about this one. It's very highly anticipated. I'm going to be vlogging it this month, so get ready for that. And also in that vlog, and also one of my Book of the Month picks, is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, and I just have to read you guys this description because it sounds so good. Like, I literally read this and I said, say no more.
Oh shit. It doesn't say it. It doesn't, are you kidding me? It doesn't say it? Oh my god, I was so excited to tell you guys.
It like had a little thing on Goodreads that was like a little riddle, but the riddle's not in the fucking, it's not in the book. However, there is a map, which I like. But apparently this is a family drama murder mystery kind of vibe. It says, after years of avoiding one another, Daisy Darker's entire family is assembling for Nana's 80th birthday. They're finally back together and will be cut off from the rest of the world for 8 hours. Each of them arrives harboring secrets, and at the stroke of midnight, a storm rages and Nana is found dead. Like, it's giving Knives Out vibes. I love the like rich people, family murder mystery, locked door mystery. Oh, it's just so good. Well, I hope it's so good. This is also going in the vlog, so y'all will find out if I like it. And another one that will be featured in the vlog that I also got as an add-on from Book of the Month is The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell. Now, this is another follow-up to my two queens, Karen and Lisa. They both came out with follow-ups in 2022. No original content, which is like...
Excuse me, ladies.
And this is the follow-up to Lisa Jewell's Family Upstairs. So that is my least favorite of all of her books. It is my lowest ranked. I don't think it's necessarily a bad book. It was just pretty boring to me, and I felt like right when I started getting invested in the story, the book ended. So hopefully this picks back up where I started getting interested and expands on the story, and I end up liking this a little bit more than I liked the first one. Now let's go ahead and jump into all the rest of the books. I like to show them to you guys based on where I got them from. So let's just start with random shit I ordered on Amazon. The first one that I was looking for everywhere on Pango, everywhere in half-price books at Barnes & Noble, I could not find this book anywhere, so I just broke down and ordered it online, is So Happy For You by Celia Lasky. And I heard some really great things about this book. It sounds right up my alley, and the cover is just absolutely stunning. So I figured it was something that I wanted to have in my collection either way. This is a really short, tiny, fast-paced thriller that follows a toxic female friendship leading up to one of the girls getting married. And I do believe there is LGBTQIA+ rep in here, which I love to see, and I love tense thrillers about female friendship, about, like, you know, girls going behind each other's back and just stabbing and all that shit. Also love books set at a wedding. I'm getting married in a little over a year, so I'm super excited to read some wedding stuff. Hopefully my wedding will not end in murderous backstabbing like this book probably will. The next book that I broke down and ordered on Amazon because it was on sale was 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, and I got this totally completely influenced by Deja from Deja's Book World. I heard amazing things about this book from her. I was reading a romance and I wasn't that into it, and she was like, girl, you need this one. And of course I listened to all of Deja's recs because we do have a really similar taste. So I'm excited to get into this one. It seems like it's like second chance romancy, which is kind of what I've been digging lately, especially like Every Summer After. I absolutely loved that one. I also just read the Summer I Turned Pretty series, and I've been liking those vibes. So it says 7 days to fall in love, 15 years to forget, and 7 days to get it all back again. Eva Mercy is a single mom and best-selling erotica writer who's feeling pressed from all sides. Shane Hall is a reclusive award-winning novelist who, to everyone's surprise, shows up in New York. When they meet unexpectedly at a Black literary event, sparks fly. But what no one knows is that 15 years earlier, they met as teenagers and spent one crazy torrid week madly in love and have been secretly writing to each other in their books ever since.
Oh my god. Oh.
This is giving like diverse Emily Henry vibes. And I've been waiting for Emily Henry to write a little bit of diversity, which I saw yesterday that she had non-white people on her cover that is going to be released in 2023, but that's besides the point. I love romances about books. I love books about books. I love when there's authors and like writers in romances thinking about like Beach Read and The Roughest Draft. Those are two of my favorite books. I didn't even know that was going to be in here. Deja, if you would have told me that. Well, I bought it anyway. Now I'm like super excited, moving this to the top of my TBR. Next up, we have Notes on an Execution by Danya Kukafka. And this one I heard about from Gabby Reads. She was absolutely raving about it. So of course I ran to pick it up. Like, they're just my girlies where if they talk about a book, I'm going to buy it immediately. And in this book, we are following like a very character-driven account of somebody on death row from the perspective of all the women in this guy's life. So like a woman and multiple women's perspective on this shitty, like murderous man on death row. And apparently we're gonna have empathy for this man, which like I truly don't believe that I could access that, but we'll see how it goes. Next up on Amazon, I ordered Heart Broke by Chelsea Beaker. And I just thought this one sounded really interesting. It's a short story collection all about like different times of love, like different points in a relationship, whether it's like just starting in a really long relationship, about to break up. There's just like all these different accounts of love. A phone sex operator, a woman stealing a baby from a shelter, a mother and son selling dream catchers on a highway, like all of this shit that's just like people trying to fall in love, I guess. Also, this cover is just so beautiful. I could not resist. So yeah, I bought it. Moving on to the one book I randomly picked up at Walmart, which you obviously saw if you watched my vlog. I think it was my TikTok made me read it book talk book reading vlog. I randomly went to Walmart and picked up Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. This is, I think, one of 3 by her that I haven't read, so I wanted to start knocking those out so I could do a complete Colleen Hoover guide for y'all and rank all of them. So if you haven't read any of her books, you know which ones are worth it, because trust me, there are quite a few that are trash and not, but then she has a few in her backlist that are favorites of mine. So I'm excited to see where this one falls. I think this is like a boy next door romance, like 2 neighbors fall in love, and the guy is like a songwriter, and apparently there's like a playlist and like songs, and I love books with a playlist. So obviously this is just gonna be a cute little fluffy fluff fest, and I'm down for it. Next up, I did take a trip to Half Price Books. I was looking for So Happy For You. I didn't find it, but I did find other things, so I'll go ahead and show you. I have The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry. I realized I had never read a book by Christina Henry, so I wanted to test her out, see if I like her books. This is a horror novel. It says, when the bodies of 2 girls are found torn apart in the town of Smith's Hollow, Lauren is surprised, but she also expects that the police won't catch the killer. After all, her father's body was discovered the year before with his heart missing, and everyone has just moved on.
Hello?
She realizes the foundation of her normal town might be rotten, and if nobody else stands for the missing, she will. So this sounds like a very small town, ghosty Halloween. I'm so ready for fall, you guys. Like, beyond ready. And this is definitely gonna go on some type of Halloween-esque TBR. Y'all are gonna kill me for the next one. Y'all are gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me. You'll Be Mine
By Natasha Preston. Listen, she has me in a chokehold.
This was only $5, okay? You can't be mad at me, it was $5. Lila and her friends cannot wait to spend a night out together. Partying is the perfect way to let loose, and Lila hopes to hit the dance floor with Chase, her best friend, which will bring them closer. She's been crushing on him since they met. If only he thought of her the same way. The girls are touching up their makeup, the guys are sliding on their coats, and the doorbell rings. No one's there. An envelope sits on the doormat. It's an anonymous note addressed to their friend Sunny. A secret admirer? Maybe. They all laugh it off, except Sunny never comes home. And a new note arrives. Your turn. Just, it's giving drama, it's giving dramatic, it's giving literally what the hell is happening. It will probably be a fever dream with a lot of drama that I don't care about, but you know what? It's gonna be a quick little read, and it's gonna be a good time for me. Even if it's not, it is. You know what I mean? And then the last book that I picked up on that Half Price Books trip is We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Berry. And I got this book because I am just constantly looking for Stranger Things vibes in books. Y'all know. Like, y'all just, you know. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with Stranger Things. I have been obsessed with it. It's always been my favorite show, but something about season 4... Eddie Munson. There was just something about season 4 that literally stole my heart. And so I'm looking to recreate that feeling. And this book is set in the 80s. And it follows this young friend group of girls on a hockey league, I believe. Yes, they have a hockey league weaving their way to an unforgettable season. But I believe there's like speculative, weird elements in here as well, and it's a feminist book. So, sounds like a recipe for everything that I would love. I have heard good things about this, I think from Kayla from Books and Lala, is who I originally heard about this book from. So, hopefully she does not steer me wrong. I feel like I'm gonna love it. Now, the next little stack I have here. We have to talk about Costco. Okay, I am an avid Costco shopper. I follow all the pages of Costco Does It Again, Costco Finds, all that bullshit. But what nobody talks about Costco books slap the house down. That books section is boots, mama, boots, boots, period. No, I really like the Costco book section. They're also literally so cheap for no reason. And it's new releases, like new releases. I picked up The It Girl by Ruth Ware, which is literally looking crazy with my ring light. But this would usually be like at Barnes & Noble, like what, $28, $29? Yeah, $28.99. $28.99. Girl, I got it for $15.99. And it's a new release, hardcover, shiny little book jacket, blah blah. I knew I didn't want to spend the full amount on this book because I'd heard not wonderful things about it, but I also knew that I wanted to read all Ruth Ware books physically. I just feel like there's a coziness, there's an atmosphere to her books that makes me really enjoy the book more when I read it physically. So I did want a physical copy, and I honestly wish I could tell you what this book is about. There are so many subplots. Like, I feel like I got spoiled just reading part of the synopsis. There are a lot of things going on. People who met at like an elite boarding school giving dark academia vibes. There's a husband and wife who had some kind of tragedy. There was somebody they knew who like went to prison. And then the whole thing about the It Girl is like this toxic friendship of this girl. Yeah, April Clark Cliveden. She's vivacious, bright, and occasionally vicious, the ultimate it girl, and she pulls our main character into her dazzling orbit, blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot going on. I have no idea how this is going to go. I've heard very mixed reviews, but we'll see. I tend to like Ruth Ware books that nobody else likes, so who knows? I might enjoy this. Next up, I got the Black Phone Stories by Joe Hill, and I got this book of little horror stories because obviously the Black Phone just got made into a horror movie. I knew that I did not want to watch the movie until I read the book. I am that way, okay? I'm one of those people where if there's an adaptation, I cannot watch it until I've read it. I love reading things first. So I wanted to read this ASAP so Cameron and I could watch the adaptation because Cameron does not care about reading the book and I know he really wants to watch the movie. So I just went ahead and got it. Also, this man is literally terrifying.
Ew, I hate you.
But yeah, this is just a short story horror collection. I believe there are 15 stories in here of just horrifying things. So this might be another one that goes on the fall TBR, maybe intro to fall, maybe September TBR. Okay, vibes. And finally from Costco, I got these two, The Thursday Murder Club and The Man Who Died Twice, which I believe is the follow-up, or it says on the cover. It is the new Thursday Murder Club mystery. So I guess it follows the same characters as the ones in the Thursday Murder Club. And I've heard great things about these books from quite a few people on BookTube recently. It's just been getting a lot of hype. And again, these feel like very fall, very cozy reads. I want like a mystery, a whodunit. I want something cozy, and this feels like that. We are following the Thursday Murder Club, which is a group of retirees. They're just like old people at this retirement home. They get together every Thursday and they try to solve crimes, cold cases. They're just like really fucking old murderinos, basically. And one day they actually get on a trail that might solve a murder. So it sounds very funny, very charming, very, very cozy, which is what I'm wanting. The next section of books I got from this really, really cool store. Obviously, I moved. If you haven't heard me talk about it, it's literally the only thing I ever fucking talk about. I moved, and by my new apartment, there is this cool store called Recycled Reads, and I was like,
I would like to see it.
I would like to check it out, what's in there. And basically, it's all of the Austin Public Library books that are out of the library circulation. Like, they're retired from the library. So they're sold in this Recycled Read store for $1 each. $1. One singular dollar. Okay, these are hardback books for the most part for $1. I literally could not believe it. I could not believe it. And this gem is like 2 minutes away from me. So you best believe I'm gonna be in Recycled Reads as much as I can. I got quite a few hardbacks, but I did get one paperback, so I'll start with that. I got The Strangers on Montague Street by Karen White. Hush, guys! And this is either the second or the third book in the House on Trad Street series. And it's like a romancy, paranormal mystery series. I have either the first and the second or the first and the third, and this is the second or third. So it's the one that I needed to complete the first 3 novels in this series, and I definitely want to read these this fall. So when I found it for $1, I was so happy. I also got Everything We Didn't Say by Nicole Bart, which was obviously a book of the month copy. I guess the Recycled Read store also takes like donations from the community, but they literally sell them for $1. So like, that's crazy. So this book is following Juniper, and she's just like an 18-year-old girl living her life. There's fireworks. She's having a summer moment, and little does she know, next door, her neighbors, their whole family is getting murdered. So she wakes up the next morning and she's like, oh fuck, literally there was a mass murder next door. To make it worse, her brother is the prime suspect. So her whole life just gets torn apart, flipped on his head before she even has a chance to like start her adult life. And in this book, she is trying to recover from the trauma. She's returning to her hometown and I guess figuring out if her brother did it or not. Next up, I got Last Girl Ghosted by Lisa Unger. And I had seen this one a lot. I believe it came out in 2020. I had seen it, but I never really heard any good reviews, or not good reviews, just any reviews at all. Bad, good, neutral, nothing. So I didn't pick it up, but for $1, you know what? I'm gonna try it. Especially because I haven't heard anything. Like, this could be a gem. So this is an online dating thriller. It says an online dating match turns into a deadly cat and mouse game in this riveting and utterly original thriller. Last Girl Ghosted. I feel like it's going to be a little bit dated. Like, it's definitely going to have those social media aspects that tell you exactly when the book was written. But if it's a good fun time, I'm willing to forgive it for that. And I love having like social media aspects in my thrillers. So excited for that. Let me know if you want me to vlog this one or give you the tea on it. I also got Fates and Furies by Lauren Groff. And this one just sounded really interesting to me from the description. I'd never heard anybody talk about it before. But it says it's an exhilarating portrait of one extraordinary couple over the course of 24 years. It's a novel about marriage, creativity, power, and perception. And it's basically these people who have this charmed life. This couple is just running on good luck and good sex. And a decade later, they have kids. Their life and marriage is the envy of their friends. But then something happens. With an emotionally complicated twist, the POV shifts, and what began as a story about an extraordinary union becomes about so much more. It says there are stunning revelations, multiple threads, vibrant prose. Like, all of this just sounds like something that I would really enjoy. Y'all know I love like the portrait of a perfect couple or the perfect family, but there's like all this shit going on underneath. So I feel like that's exactly what this is gonna be. I also got Best Friends Forever by Margot Hunt. And I had never heard of this book, but I have heard of Margot Hunt. I absolutely loved her book For Better and Worse. Oh my gosh, I loved it. It was so quick, so fast paced. If you need to get out of a slump, you gotta read For Better and Worse by Margot Hunt. It just kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time. So because I love her writing style so much, I decided to try out another one of her books for $1. I've also never heard anyone talk about this one. And it's about toxic female friendship, so I'm sure I'm gonna love that. It says, how well do you really know your best friend? Kat and Alice have a friendship forged in shared confidence, long lunches, and expensive wine. Though they're very different women, they're each other's rocks, but even rocks crumble under pressure when Kat's husband plunges to his death. I feel like I shouldn't have read that. I hate that. Ugh, I hate when synopses like spoil something. Like, a man plunging to his death literally would have shocked the hell out of me probably like 30 pages into this book, but now I already know what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna stop reading the synopsis there. This is why I don't read thriller synopses. I try to be a good booktuber, okay? I try to give you guys some tea in the hall, so it's not me just going, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. And then that shit happens. So you know what, Margot? We're gonna see if I like this one, but I'm kind of pissed at your synopsis. Next up from Recycled Reads, I got The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. I don't know. And this is basically about like a sanitarium that got turned into a hotel. So it's a haunted building where like people were mistreated and kept there against their will, that now people in modern day are just like having my little Instagram staycation. Like, I love that concept. And it says everyone's in danger, anyone could be next. So there's obviously like disappearances here, there's sketchy shit going on at this place, and it says that it's a gothic thriller. I've heard that this is more like literary horror though. I'm not expecting too crazy twists. I've heard mixed things about it, but it looks, you know, cozy, snowy. I figured for the upcoming fall and winter season. Can y'all tell I'm very excited to not be in summer anymore? This would be a good read for that. Next up, I have The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. And since I'm a little time travel magical realism girl, I figured this would be a good thing for me to pick up. It is about this mystical woman in 1969 who is said to predict people's deaths. Like, she can show you a glimpse of how you will die. So people are lining up to figure out how they're gonna die. And then I guess the immortalists are people who find out they won't die or continue to escape their death. I don't want to know too much going in, but I like this like escaping fate kind of speculative thing. Y'all know I'm a hoe for magical realism, so I'm excited for this. And the last book that I picked up from the Recycled Read store is The Upside of Being Down by Jen Gotch. And apparently this is some kind of mental health advice book, and a memoir for this woman, Jen Gotch. And I don't know who she is, but I have been wanting to do a video where I, myself, a therapist, review mental health, like self-help kind of books. And I have Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb, which I know is very controversial in the mental health community. So I figured I would pick this one up. And if you guys know of any other like pop psychology kind of advice books that you would want a therapist perspective on, comment down below because I'm super excited to make that video for you guys. All right, I just have a couple more random little pickups to show you before we get into this massive stack that is staring me in the face from Pango. So before we get to all the Pango books, I picked up Less by Andrew Sean Greer at Goodwill for $1. And I believe that this is a LGBTQ romance / it's like a finding yourself kind of journey, because this guy gets a wedding invitation in the mail from his boyfriend of the past 9 years who is engaged to someone else. He can't say yes and he can't say no, but he can avoid it by skipping town and going to like all of these things. Basically just saying yes to every other opportunity that gets him to have an excuse to not go to this wedding. I don't know. The back cover is like very confusing. This is very convoluted in the synopsis. I literally have no idea what's going on here. But I've heard good things, I think from a few people, I can't remember their channels right now, but I've heard this is a tearjerker and it's like a self-discovery kind of romance. And I always love romance with the background or the intention of self-discovery for the main character. So excited for that. Also $1 at Goodwill. Come on, go off. And this next book is actually kind of a funny story. So I have here The Summer List by Amy Mason Doan. And the reason why this came into my possession is because I was in a session, you know, doing my therapy with my clients as I do, and I do walk and talk sessions around a park because I'm a somatic therapist. So there's a little free library over there, and I had like a 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and a 12 o'clock session. My 10 o'clock showed up, and I knew my 12 o'clock was going to show up, but my 11 o'clock canceled, so I had an hour to kill in the park. I found a little free library, pulled the scroll out, and just read it for an hour. And it was not bad. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. It was like very fluffy, mom's beach read vibes, but I read it, so I took it because I wanted to finish it. So this book is basically following Laura and Casey, who were childhood best friends, but there was this huge thing, which I'm not going to spoil, this like big betrayal that happened in their friendship, and it like destroyed their relationship. It also like had some implications with other relationships. So they had severed ties, and now Laura is coming back to kind of rekindle this friendship with Casey and make up for past wounds. It's like very beachy, very summery, and yeah. This is such a weird coincidence. I just started picking this up and reading it, but now it's here. So there we go. All right, now it is time to get into the absolutely massive stack of books from Pango that I've ordered from y'all over the past couple months. There's just so many. I don't even know where to start. Let's just dive in. I got The Lies You Told by Harriet Tice. This is a thriller. I've read from this author before. Actually, I featured her novel Blood Orange in my first ever reading vlog I ever filmed and ever put up on this channel. I believe I gave it 3 stars, so not bad, not amazing, very average thriller. But I realized that I haven't read anything from Harriet Tice since, so I wanted to try out one of her newer releases. I believe that this one came out in 2021, and she's a British thriller author. Y'all know I love my British thrillers, so I'm excited to have that kind of setting. Also, just the people that blurbed it. Like, we have Alex Michaelides, Lisa Jewell, and Sarah Pinborough. That is like pretty high praises, pretty good accolades on the back there. This is giving me, from the synopsis, honestly, British Big Little Lies. It's about like mommies at the school gates at this exclusive London private school. And there's a new single mom in town who worked hard to get her daughter in this exclusive school, but the mothers are not having it. And so there's mommy drama, there's rich people drama, and some kind of murder that is being tried or investigated or something, because our main character is a lawyer. So she's working on this like very high profile murder case at the same time that this like domestic drama is going on. Next up in my Pango stack is Lock the Doors by Vincent Ralph. So this was a journey to get this book to me. Shout out to the amazing Pango seller who I bought this from. I will look and see if she has like a bookstagram or something. Y'all need to go follow her. She is such a sweet person. I was moving in the middle of this book trying to get sent to me, so there literally had to be 2 labels. At one point, my apartment was listed as vacant. Like, something, I don't know. The UPS was trying to fuck with me getting this book, and she just did everything she could to get this little dumbass YA thriller to me. So I'm very thankful for her. And I'm also super excited to read this one because Vincent Ralph's other book that I read last year, 14 Ways to Die, was such an easy 5-star, super fast paced, such a fun time. I just loved it. So I want to try out more from him. And this, of course, like I said, is a YA thriller. And it seems like kind of paranormal. This family moves into this house, very typical. They have like weird messages written on the walls, locking doors, like just creepy stuff going on. And the family who used to live in the house that they moved into actually just moved right across the street. And they're feeling creepy vibes from them, like maybe they might be watching them. I don't know. I feel like something's gonna happen where they're living in the walls. They're still in the house. They're trying to kill these people. I don't know. That's the vibe that I get. I haven't read it, so this is all conjecture from my little imagination, but I'm hoping that it's something like that. Next up, I actually got my first bundle on Pango Books, which I'd never gotten a bundle before. It's basically like when they have a listing for multiple books. So you pay like a dirt cheap price for multiple books. And I got a Lisa Jewell bundle of her like vintage books, like the first books that she ever wrote. I've never seen these in any store, so I'm super excited to have these. They also have like super cool like retro covers. Like, look at this. It's giving like 90s, early 2000s. Like, I just can't. So I have a Ralph's Party 30 nothing. and One Hit Wonder. And apparently these are all just like early 2000s Lisa Jewell gems. I would love to see where one of my favorite authors came from. These are her roots. And I think this whole bundle was like $3. So I got each book for $1. It was a great purchase. I don't regret it one bit. Next up, I wanted some more Matt Haig for my collection. So I got Reasons to Stay Alive and Notes on a Nervous Planet. And both of these have like very strong, good mental health rep according to reviews. I feel like this one is going to be more about anxiety and this one is going to be more about suicidal ideation and depression. And I've been going through it a little bit recently, so I feel like I need these. And I love Matt Haig. I usually love his writing style and the metaphors that he uses to talk about mental health. So super excited to get to these and review them, give you my mental health professional perspective on them. Next up, I have Fool Me Once by Ashley Winstead. I'm so excited to read this. It is a new release romance from one of my favorite thriller authors from last year. Ashley Winstead wrote In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which I absolutely loved. It was a devious little salacious drama-filled whodunit in a dark academia setting. But now she's come out with a contemporary romance. It's about a woman who has learned to never trust men. 4 major heartbreaks in a row have her thinking that no man is worth shit. But this guy from her past shows up 5 years later working as a policy expert for the most liberal governor in Texas history. I would love that. That was literally my dream. LOL. We will never have a liberal governor in Texas, but if only, girl. If fucking only. I can dream. And this happens just as Lee is trying to get a clean energy bill rolling. So there's political tension. There's like history, second chance romance vibes about a strong woman who doesn't trust men. Oof, I just know I'm gonna love it. I just know I'm gonna love it. Next up, I have just fucking hit myself in the face. The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. I have never read from this author, but I had a few comments telling me I should check her out. And then Mayo from Mayona's Reads, she has been on my sprints lately. I just absolutely love her. She's such a gem of a person, and y'all probably already know her. If you know me, you definitely know her. Like, she's like kind of famous or whatever. But we've been sprinting, and she told me that she liked this one from Sally Hepworth, so I blindly trusted her and ordered it so I could give this author a try and see if maybe I like her. And this is a thriller about a woman who lives like a very sheltered, structured life, and she doesn't do much, she doesn't get out much. And her sister finds out that she can't get pregnant, so our main character thinks this is a good opportunity to like pay back her sister for being a great sister to her, because like she does nothing and doesn't have a life, so having a baby and like being her surrogate or whatever like wouldn't be that big of a deal to her. I don't know. It's a very weird, I think there's going to be some twisted relationships in here. But basically she's going to try to have a baby for her sister who can't have a baby because she has no life. Listen, I don't judge a book by its synopsis, so I'm going in open. Next up, I have One Day We Will All Be Dead and None of This Will Matter by Sashi Kowal. Cool. And this is like a very, just like Gen Z kind of negative outlook, pessimist look on the world through short stories that are supposed to be poignant and funny. And I've been into short story collections. As you can see, I think this is like the 3rd or 4th one that I've hauled. So I'm very interested to see if I like this. That's all. Somehow, one of my book of the months ended up in the Pango stack, but this was my July book of the month pick, which was You're Invited by Amanda Jayatissa. And this is about a woman who is invited to this wedding. I believe it's her ex and her childhood best friend. So this is not a wedding that she wants to attend. She is not excited for it. But when a murder takes place, she is the prime suspect because obviously she has animosity for both of these people. And I believe she is thrown into a murder investigation. Again, I love thrillers set at a wedding, and this looks like very rainy, isolated, like Guest List by Lucy Foley vibes. I'm into it. Next up, I got a couple novellas. The first one is The Test by Sylvain Nouvelle. And this is about a British citizenship test gone wrong. It says there are 25 questions to determine the worth of a life, 25 chances to impress, but when the test takes an unexpected and tragic turn, our main character is handed the power of life and death. I just love this idea of a citizenship test because it does feel like life or death, you know, for somebody who's taking one and making it into horror. I think that is just, it says so much, and y'all know I love a horror or a thriller that actually has something to say, and I'm hoping this is going to be that. And next up, I have another rec from Deja, which is We Had to Remove This Post by Hannah Bervowitz. And I'm absolutely obsessed with this book. Just like the look of it is gorgeous. I love this teeny tiny little drippy, trippy girl. And it's about content moderators. So it's a short horror book about the people who have to basically look through flagged material on the internet and decide what needs to be taken down and what can stay. So they see horrific things because, you know, horrible things get flagged, like videos of murder and rape and abuse, but then other things that are just like, you know, somebody getting pissed off, like a Karen getting pissed off and flagging a video, that is not going to be taken down. So there are people that review these things and decide whether posts need to be removed or not, and I think it goes into the dark side of that. And I actually had some contact with somebody who had this job at one point, and I learned a lot about it and the trauma that the people who actually have this job in real life go through. So I'm very interested to see if this will be true to the experience that I have heard about, and I just think it's a great idea for a horror book. Next up, I have another romance. This one was actually recommended to me by my IRL best friend, so of course I had to get it. And that is Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. So this one kind of has a similar structure to books that I've been loving. I know I keep talking about Every Summer After, but I really love it. It also sounds similar to like The Roughest Draft, where we're following two timelines with our love interests when they first meet and fall in love, and then their reunion after they've had time apart a decade later. So I am excited for that structure. It obviously works for me, and I've heard wonderful things. I know it's set in LA, so it's like very summery, very vibey, and I'm gonna let you guys know the tea on this super hyped book. I have another contemporary romance, and that is A Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This one follows a weather girl, you know, a news person who's on the news and does the weather. A meteorologist. Couldn't think of that one. And I believe that she has a romance with the sports reporter on the network, which I just think is so cute. I'm excited to read about that type of job. And there's supposed to be a really great mental health rep in here as well for depression. So I'm excited to review that for you guys as well. Next up, we have another Matt Haig, and that is How to Stop Time. And this is about a guy who has been not necessarily time traveling, but he's been alive for like forever. He's experienced years and years and years and years, but he only looks like he's a 40-year-old man. So his cover is being a history teacher. Like, oh yeah, I only know about all this stuff, not because I experience it, because like I'm a history teacher. And he can keep on living this life by not falling in love. But if he ever falls in love, time stops, he's done, he's dead. So the second that he actually has something worth living for, a connection that is so strong that he falls in love, it stops, which I just think is crazy. I think that concept sounds so interesting. Also, y'all know I love like stuff that messes with time and like magical realism in that way. So this just sounds perfect for me. All right, we're getting into our last few books here. I promise we're almost done. Thank you so much for sticking around if you made it to this point. The next book that I have here is Temper by Lane Fargo. And this has been on my TBR for quite a while, over a year now since I read They Never Learn and absolutely loved it. So I wanted to read Lane Fargo's debut. And this seems very similar in theme to They Never Learn, so I'm hoping I enjoy it just as much. It's about a girl who's an aspiring actress and she has a temper. sometimes she can control it and sometimes she cannot. And she's casted in this play with a director who likes to push young actresses beyond their limits on stage and off. And who knows how our main character's temper will react to that. I think we're gonna have some female serial killer vibes, and I'm so excited. Next up, we have Foul is Fair by Hannah Capin. And this is, it just sounds so odd. I believe this is YA because it takes place at a private school called St. Andrews. And the description is very interesting. It says, St. Andrews has met its new queen. With vengeance on her mind and fire in her eyes, Jade and her coven will take down the boys who wronged her one by one. Their way in, a beautiful and willing boy named Mac. So this is a retelling of Macbeth that is feminist, and it's about like strong women fighting back against, you know, dumb little boys who don't know what they're doing and they just run around hurting people. So I think I'm gonna like it, or at least I hope I do. Next up, I have The Mother Next Door by Tara Laskowski. And the whole reason why I bought this is because part of this book takes place on Halloween night, and y'all know I'm getting books stacking up for my fall TBR. I know I'm gonna want to read this during the week of Halloween because, you know, I love the vibes. So I'm excited for it. It's a domestic thriller about the annual Halloween block party that takes place in idyllic suburban cul-de-sac Ivy Woods Drive. An influential group of neighborhood moms known as the Ivy Five planned the event for months. Except the Ivy Five has been four for a long time. So somebody died. I'm guessing one of these moms died. And a new mother moves to town eager to fit in, and the moms see it as an opportunity to make the group five again. This year's block party should be the best yet, until the women start receiving anonymous messages threatening to expose their dark past. See, this just sounds like a drama. This just sounds like tea. This just sounds like Halloween vibes, and that is everything that I'm looking for. And finally, the last book that I got on Pango, I actually know next to nothing about. I just thought it sounded really interesting, and I loved the cover. We have I Told You This Would Happen by Elaine Murphy, who I've never heard of this author, but gosh, this cover is just gorge. And it's giving female serial killer, which I love. It says, Carrie's sister is dead. For 4 months after losing her sister, Becca, a serial killer unknown to everyone else in their town, Carrie is finally free of her manipulative clutches. So Carrie had a sister who's a serial killer, and now this sister is dead. So Carrie's free. But from now on, she's keeping her hands clean, no more hiding dead bodies in the middle of the night for her sister, and no more lies. She becomes involved with the Brampton Kill Seekers, a group of amateur local sleuths, and learns that a recent victim left behind a note that incriminates her in their disappearance. And all of a sudden, this quiet, law-abiding life she had been planning begins to unravel. Does that not sound so good? I love, like, all of these female serial killer books right at the end. Can we tell what I was searching for? I am so ready for some juicy fall reads, some coziness, some mysteries, some whodunits, and some female killers. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me through this long ass haul. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below if there are books that I should prioritize that you guys think I would like the most, and I will put them on some upcoming TBRs. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. If you liked this video, go ahead and like it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to go to therapy and read a book this week. I will see you in my next one. Bye!